podcast where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. This week, I got an awesome guest on the line, Miles Martin. We go way back. We played college baseball together. Slam and Sammy's back here. We got Miles, Booby Miles
Yeah, man.
on the call with us.
Yeah, man. Booby's here, man.
Miles, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do now.
Yeah, man. So, like Slim and Sammy said, I'm Miles Martin. The fellas you would call me Booby Miles back in college. I'm just a kid from Atlanta, man. Just trying to make it, man. Like Sammy said, we met at Tuskegee, played ball together. Sammy was a junior. I believe Sammy.
Yeah,
You were a junior when I was a freshman. Yeah, so we had 2 years together, man. And I looked up to Sammy, man. Sammy was like a big brother to me, man. He was like a role model on the field, off the field. I just really looked up to Sammy, man. Before we get into my story and stuff, man. Sammy, you remember you still got that what was that, a Honda that you had that was a stick shift?
Oh yeah. It was a
Yeah, man. I learned how to drive a damn manual transmission with that, man. Oh yeah. I remember
yeah.
when we used to have we would have like practices ourselves without coach and stuff. And you would bring your car to the field, you'll park it on the field. And I was like, Samuel, let me try to drive that manual transmission, man. And I got in there. I learned from that.
Yeah,
I think I might have messed up the clutch, you know what I'm saying, a little bit.
shoot, you didn't because that
I
thing was running for a while after. Shoot,
Yeah, really.
yeah, you messed up nothing.
Oh, I ain't messing. Okay, no,
yeah,
I mean, I knew I was. I
yeah,
was, I was pretty much. I ain't self taught, but I pretty much just jumped in the car and I seen the movies how they do it, how they shift and stuff like that. Now, then I saw you too because you were. I think sometimes you would pick me up from practice and stuff to
yeah.
go to practice every now and then. So I would watch you do it, and I jumped. I said, "Seven, let me go ahead and try it out," and I got through it, man. So
yeah.
now I know how to drive stick shift now because of Sammy, man.
Now you gotta run in that big trucks too.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. You don't see they don't really they don't produce too much manual
yeah,
transmission in trucks now, but that's an art that I think that every man should at least try to do. It's fun too.
yeah. I know
Hmm.
mostly they're putting them in like the SIs and smaller cars versus all the cars now. Like if
Yeah,
you got a Camaro or something,
yeah, something fun.
yeah, something fun. They
Yeah,
speed.
you buy something fun, you need to go and buy that manual transmission.
Yeah, like a Type R too, Honda Type R.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
You how long did you have that? How long did you have? You just get rid of it, or you ain't
No,
still got it, do you?
so crazy story, man. After I graduated, I went home for a while,
Hmm.
to St. Croix, and when I came back to Alabama, I was driving to see my sister, and
Hmm.
I don't know what happened. I saw the light turn green, but I took the left. Somebody T-boned me on the right
Damn.
car. So I don't know if I probably missed the light, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, that's what happened to that car.
Damn, did you get hurt?
No, I'm good. I was good, but
Damn.
the lady was shooken up, but she
Mm-hmm.
was good too as well, so that was good. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, that was my first car too. I missed that car.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah,
man, that was a good car, man.
but
That
guess
was
what though? I
what?
got a Honda Civic Si out there now.
Really?
The 2020, I think it's 24 or something, 23.
Really?
Yeah, so
With
I
with
got
the
the
big
same
side.
manual back.
Oh, is you got his manual too?
Yeah.
Ah, man, you be sliding through them gears, don't you, Sam? You probably be getting tickets in that thing, don't it?
No. You
No,
see,
you
that
take you
speed
take
in
it
life
easy.
was younger.
Yeah. I hear you. You got the kids too, man. You gotta take it
Yeah,
easy, man.
I can't afford those tickets. Nope.
Yeah.
That speed in life was when I was younger.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
all right, man.
So tell us a little bit about you, Miles. How's it going? How's real estate?
Every, it's good, man. So I'm a general contractor for for your audience, those that don't know. It's a family business. We buy houses, we fix them up, we renovate them and sell them, just kind of like pretty much like on TV. Recently, in the last couple years, we started building houses from scratch. So we'll buy land in Atlanta, and we'll buy it and we'll build a house in new construction on it. we kind of started doing that because the market is different now, man. It's
Hmm.
now that the house, especially in Atlanta. I'm not sure how it is in Orlando or all across the nation, but housing prices are very expensive. So the houses that we would normally buy, for like just say 5 years ago, we'll buy a house for 120,000, 130,000. Those same houses are like 200,000 now, man, because sellers know that they can get that for it, and it's really not worth it. You know what I'm saying? So like if I know that I can only buy a house for $120,000, um, and they're asking for 200 for it, I can't buy it because I'm not. By the time I put money into it and renovate it and sell it, I'm not going to make any money. You know what I
Right.
mean? So we kind of went into a different. We had to change with the market. Got to fluctuate with the market. So we started buying lots and started building houses from scratch. So it's been pretty cool doing that, man. It's a nice new development what we're doing with that.
So I know you said the market shifted, but how about like foreclosures and stuff like that? You guys didn't wasn't interested in those, or like tax liens and stuff? Because I know
Yeah,
those.
we've when we started the business, when we started actually renovating houses probably about 4 or 5 years ago, we did do quite a few foreclosed houses.
Okay.
Lately we haven't though. We just haven't got the deals. I don't know if it's because a lot of houses aren't getting foreclosed on now, or I don't know what's going on, but we haven't really touched foreclosure in the last probably 3 to 4 years. Yeah, so it's just a little, I really don't know. I'm sure people are still doing it. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
just, it's not, and for some reason, it's not that available right now.
Right. All right.
Hmm.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge as being a developer?
Um, to be honest with you, probably just the market and probably the way how much as things are costing more now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, inflation.
Lumber prices are going up. Um, Land prices are going up. I already told you, housing prices are going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really just trying to really find that deal, man. We used to, when we used to renovate houses, we would just go to Home Depot and buy this and that, and buy all our lumber from Home Depot and stuff. But now to really make some money, you really got to do your research. Like Home Depot might have a 2x4 might cost $5. Like let's say four 485 now, and that's pretty high, man. Because 2 3 years ago, 2x4 was $3 or 275. So that same 2x4 is almost $5 now. So now you really got to do your research and find these lumber accounts, these small mom and pop, companies that are selling lumber and stuff. And they still maybe selling it for $3. So
Yeah.
we may have to send a truck down to Macon, Georgia, or something like that to go get 1,000 2x4. You know what I'm saying? And so that just that's a small example of things you got to do to try to save a dime. You know what I'm saying? So your total cost doesn't cost. You're not putting yourself over your budget. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really just the man. It's really just the market and the way things are just skyrocketing and stuff. And you got these tariffs and stuff going on and stuff now, man. So you really gotta just really do everything you buy, man, in the house, man. You really gotta just do your research because you gotta understand that there's somewhere else that you can buy it for cheaper at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you got to make sure you buying it cheap. You got to make sure they ain't a cheaper material. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
that's
So
another thing you run into.
quality of your house. Yeah.
Exactly. You could go buy some stuff. It may be $2 a square foot, but it may be cheap and break down the next 3 4 5 years. And you don't want to have a bad name on your. You don't want to have a stain on your name.
Yeah.
They see a modern real estate developer house and that thing falling down out there, man. It ain't no good for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Yes,
could.
it's really just adjusting to the market.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that because, like, right now, we trying to get a roof put on for one of my properties back home. I'm
Mm.
getting quotes of like 100,000, 200,000,
Oh man.
just
Mm.
because you gotta ship all that wood, all that lumber down there. So it's
Mm.
I could definitely relate to the
That
people.
same quote 3 4 years ago was probably a quarter of that, or at least
Yeah,
half of it.
just for
And man, labor's going up too, man.
yeah,
Folk trying to get paid, man. I mean,
true.
all demographics. black, white, Migos, everybody trying to get like folks ain't getting what they you can't just pay somebody $100 for the day to go work for you. Now they want the 150, they want $200 a day. Like it.
Yeah.
So when we do projects, we also do projects for other people. We get hired as general contractors, so we may renovate somebody's house or add on to their house and stuff. And when I give quotes nowadays, people kind of look at me crazy, like that price is crazy. But I mean, at the end of the day, I got to make some money. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do a project for free. I'll stay at home for I not make no money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just everything is going up, and it went up fast. You know what I mean?
So I know you said that you started in the family business, but how did Martin Real Estate Developers grew? Like, what is the first thing that happened? How it was your parents involved? Like, tell me a
Hmm.
little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's pretty much started with my parents. My dad, back in my dad was a brick mason all through high, he was a brick mason from middle school to high school. Back in the '70s stuff, they worked when they were in middle school and stuff. They didn't believe, they worked. You know what I mean? So my dad started. He worked for a general contractor. He laid brick and stuff. He would lay, block and brick on the warehouses, on like 100,000 square foot warehouses. So he was a very good brick mason, and he did that for years. And in 1994, when I was born in 1994, so 1994 he went off on his own and started his own masonry construction business. So he worked for this guy for years. He told the guy, "Yeah, I'm gonna quit and do my own thing." And the guy, his boss believed in him so much that he actually gave him some of his contracts. Like, so
Nice.
some of the warehouses that he used to work on and stuff, he gave him the contract. So in 1994, when the first year he started his business, he was building 100,000 square foot warehouses, doing all the masonry for it and stuff. He said that like he made more money in 6 months working for himself than he did like in 2 or 3 years, working for somebody. You know what I'm saying? So he started that in '94 when I was just born. He went out there right when I was born, so he was pretty bold for that. And then so we've done masonry construction all the way up until we're still doing it. We've that was our bread and butter. But in 2008, we were young, Sammy, but the economy went bad
Yeah.
like in 2008. Like we were at war and all that type stuff, and man, construction just went down, man. Like my dad went from building 100,000 square foot warehouses to barely trying to build mailboxes and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His company took a big hit. So when he went through that, man, it got tight. Like it got tight for the family. Like, and in 2008, I was probably what was it, like 10, 12 years old, something 12, 13, probably something like that. And I understood like how like I saw it affecting them, and it got I'm used to living like I was living a pretty nice life as a kid. You're going on vacations and getting all these expensive baseball bats and go karts and stuff, and it went south fast, man. Our parents they were struggling to get like they were not struggling to feed us, but like you could see it. You know what I'm saying? Like as a kid, you could see it. You know what I mean?
You see the difference.
So yeah, man. So when he went through that, my dad and my mom, they kind of I guess I didn't see all this developing, but they kind of I guess they were talking to themselves like we got to find a way to get on the other side of this thing. Like if this happens again, like so that at that point, they started buying properties. Like the property values went down. Houses went from $70,000 to $30,000. Folks are trying to get rid of because everybody's going through the same thing. So they started buying properties, and that's when they started renovating houses. You know what I mean? So that's how the renovation business started. That's how the residential business started. So pretty much, so ever since so it really got crunked up for like around about 2014, 2015. So ever since then, man, we've been buying houses and renovating them and selling them, man. We haven't rented anything yet, but everything's pretty much just fix and flip.
Nice. Yeah, because I remember
Hmm.
you said 2014, 2015. That's kind of like when I was graduate. No, I graduated in 2014, and I think that's when I met your mom, and she gave me that
Yep.
real estate investment book. I still have that book.
Yeah.
Hey, she's the one that,
Yeah, for sure, man.
yeah, let me know, hey, look, read this book and get into the
Hmm.
industry because it's profitable. So yeah, man.
Hmm. Yeah, she was, and at that point, she was new at it too. At that point,
Yeah.
yeah, but they had been doing their, I wasn't a part of that process, but they've been doing their research since like 2008, man. That's something that people don't see. Like before we bought our first house, like my parents, they were in the game for like, I mean, they were doing their homework for like 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't just jump out there and and go buy some. They really they didn't buy until they were for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Because you don't want to buy
Mm,
and then you're losing, buy at a high cost and can't make anything from it. So yeah, you definitely
exactly.
have to do your research.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. So like, I know you said that you guys did the fix and flips. It started in fix and flips. So
Hmm.
do you guys also do rentals or rent out homes, or it's
Yeah,
just
man. We have not rented out any homes, man. And
wow.
everybody asks us that question because that's usually you
Yeah.
fix and flip a couple houses and then you rent some out, but we haven't. And I think it's just because just the opportunity, like what we buy for and what we know we can sell for, like it just kind of makes sense to sell it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of that probably has to do because we're so hands on. Like I'm hands on every day, man. Like I understand that it's gonna be a part of the time where I can't have my hands on stuff and like not physically doing work, but at the time we're in now, I'm like we're pretty much all hands on deck. Like I be in there with the hammer and the and the saw and everything. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, we do stuff for a lot cheaper than somebody that's paying a general contractor to do their work. You know what I'm saying? Because we're our own general contractors. You know what I'm saying? So we pretty much we probably make 12% more than what the average person that flips houses does. Because the average person that flips a house, they hire a general contractor that charges them 15-20% to do the job.
Yeah.
We take all that whole 15-20%. So it's almost like if we're gonna make $100,000 on a flip, we not finna rent that house out. We finna get that $100,000. You know what I'm saying? It gonna take some years to get that $100,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now I understand somebody else that may hire a general contractor or something. They may only make $10,000 on a house. You know what I'm saying? So they might as well hold on to it and collect rent and over time. And it's a great strategy over time. But the way we do it, man, it's sometimes just most of the time it just makes sense to go and sell it.
Sell it.
Hmm. And my mom she's the real estate agent, and my little brother got his real estate license, so they're a team in their own. And, you know what I'm saying? Well, I don't even look for houses no more. They do all that. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
They
So
they
the
come
whole
with they
yeah.
yeah they present the deal to us, me and my dad, we all sit down and we figure out if it makes sense, and we buy it, man. We pull the trigger.
Nice. So what are some things that you read or books that you read that got you to this point of
Uh,
consistent success?
I could say the Millionaire Next Door was a great book. It have you read that?
No, I haven't read that one yet.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, write that one down. Millionaire Next Door. It's been a minute since I read. I really need to reread it. It was a great book, man. It kind of showed like it kind of followed the lives of like of a family that a traditional family. The dad was I think he was like a teacher or something like that.
Okay.
Then you had the dad that was like he was actually in construction, and he worked for himself, and it just kind of showed the difference in the mindset of working for somebody and then owning your own business. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a good read, man. Like I said, I really need to go back and read it.
Yeah.
It just showed like the sacrifices that it just showed how it's not easy at all to work for yourself. Like it's almost like the life of the family that was I think he was a teacher and he worked for the school system. They had a good life too, but the 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 construction the guy that I had the construction company, they had to sacrifice a lot, but at the end of the day, man, he made it happen. Like
Yeah.
he really locked in and made it happen, and his opportunities were endless because he was making it happen for himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's those in businesses, those long nights, those things that you don't see. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, I was driving by and I saw these kids on the road. I'm sure they were selling for their football team or baseball team or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But you see people's success, but you don't know how hard they had to work to get it.
Exactly.
They're out there in the hot sun just trying to sell water for $1 or Gatorade for $1. But
Mm-hmm.
all that is driving them, giving them passion, purpose, and just the resilience to keep going. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's a lot, man. It's a lot of hard work behind the scenes, man. I get that all the time. People say, "Oh, Miles, man, it must be feel good to work for yourself and all this type of stuff." And I tell them, man, it's tough, man. It
yeah,
ain't. I don't like. I tell people all the time, I don't get paid just because it's Friday. Like it's plenty Fridays I don't get paid. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
why you gotta do right with your money. You gotta really, I mean, it's like you said, it's long nights, it's dreams about stuff that you got going on. Like I'll dream about some stuff in the middle of the night that I have to do or something to make the business better. It'll wake me up in the middle of the night, and I'll just write it down on my phone so I won't forget about it. You know what I mean? When I wake up in the morning, it'd be a key thing that kind of can help our business. You know what I'm saying? It's when you think about for everyone that works for a corporation, like you work for a big corporation and you may do one part of you may work in one part of the corporation. When you work for yourself, you have to do all parts, even though you're a small company. But I mean, you've got to do payroll, you got to do insurance, you got to schedule, you got to find jobs, you got to think about holidays, you got to think about everything. You know what I'm saying? And luckily I have a team, but it's still a lot on. It's still a lot on. So many individuals in the small business. You know what I mean?
and then it just
It's,
take a lot of discipline because
mm,
you gotta be up on time. You gotta stick to a routine because
mm,
not then you're gonna fall behind. But
mm,
that you have a team that can help hold you up and keep the
mm.
ball rolling,
Yeah,
working on.
exactly. Like nobody's gonna tell you to. Nobody's gonna tell you what. Oh, you got to do this and that. You got to take the initiative to do it yourself. You know what I mean? You know, um, I've had people say like come to me and say like, man, I can't wait till I know these people. I can't wait till I quit my job and start my own business and stuff like that. And I'm like, you be late to you be late to your job now. Like, how you gonna, you, I, how you gonna be late? You be late to your job now, and somebody got to tell you what to do and stuff.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody can tell you what to do when you work for yourself. Like you got to do it yourself. Like if
yeah,
you
you
if
got
you
that.
can't do it when somebody else telling you to do it, how you gonna do it for yourself? How you gonna wake up in the morning and do this and know you got to reach out to this and do all this type of stuff? I think I think what I always say like to be a good boss, you have to be like a good employee too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like and actually, and when I graduated from college, I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but I worked for Hormel Foods.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
remember that? Yeah. Shout
yeah.
out to J5, man.
J5,
J5,
man,
yeah, J5
J5.
got me on, man.
J5 and
J5,
Russ. Russ was
yeah,
on
he looked
there
that.
too.
Yeah, J5 Russ, all the boys looked out for me, man. So I did that for like 2 years, and yeah, man, it was a hell of an experience, you know what I mean? And but I just I knew it was something. I knew that I yeah, I knew that in the long run I wanted to work for my family, and I believe I was a good employee there. As a
Yeah,
supervisor, I had a team of like 30 people. I was a production supervisor, so I'm running a small part of Hormel Foods. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff that I did there that I take to my small business. You know what I mean?
So like in that instance, like were they telling you like this is your little small company and you gotta run it as part as a bigger company kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was cool, man. I mean, like I said, I had my own little company. I mean, I had like 30 employees. We were producing bacon and cleaning. I was part of the bacon and sanitation crew. So had produced bacon, then we had to do the cleaning at the night. So I would work on night shift, and I had a nice little team, man. But I had my, it was tough, managing folks that are, 40, 50, 60 years old, man, and you a kid coming out of college, man. You know what I mean? Them folks ain't trying to hear you. They ain't trying to hear all that, but you gotta. It made it work. You know what I'm saying? And I took that the stuff I learned from there, and I implemented into my own business, the way we run our meetings and stuff like that, and safety is huge in construction, man. You know what I mean? And just I took a lot of those keys and took it to my own business, man.
So I got a two-part question for you. So I would say, what was the biggest lesson that you learned from Hormel that you took to your company?
Mm. Oh man, the people are the most important part. Like the people that are working under you or working for you, like you got to treat them with respect. You got to show them that you've got their back. You know what I'm saying, and you're
Yeah.
giving them the right tools to succeed. I remember one time I had a guy that was working for me at Hormel, and he asked me something like to get him a tool or something, and it was, and I had a lot going on, so I didn't really in my mind. He asked me like, "Hey, Miles, can I get this tool?" And then in my mind, I'm like, "Man, you don't need that, man. I got other stuff to worry about." You know what I'm saying? And then the next morning came. They're working at night, so the morning we had to have the plant prepared. The next morning, he couldn't complete his job because I never got him that tool or whatever it was he needed. And I failed because I didn't get him that. And he was like, "Yeah, Miles, I'm only as good as my tools." So I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh shoot, man, that's my fault, man." You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you gotta look out for your people. You gotta, if whoever's working under you or working for you, especially if you're paying them, you have to give them all the tools they can to succeed. You know what I mean? Because you can't expect the best out of them if you're not doing your job and making sure they have what they need to succeed or do the job and make sure the safety is up to date and stuff like that.
Yeah. If they take care of the people, and the people are gonna take care of you.
Exactly, exactly. You gotta be advocate for your people. That's how they respect you, man. They're not gonna respect you if you're not doing your job, or if they ask you something that they really need and you never get back to them and deliver for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially when and that was one thing, managing people at for another company, but when you're doing it for yourself and that money's kind of technically coming out your own pocket, man, you
Yeah.
really got to make sure that you on your P's and Q's first so that they can be on their P's and Q's.
Yeah. How many company donuts you bought with the company Amex?
Oh yeah, I got them boy donuts all the time, man. And we used to get them
Donuts,
donuts and
Chick
pizza,
Fil A.
man. Yeah, donuts and pizza. When we used to pass like our audits and stuff like that, man, I used to tell them for look, man, we need to work hard for a short time, not a long time. Like I used to tell them like in football when I was playing football, some high school our coach always say, do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long. I'm like, man, why these people in corporate here, man? We need to make sure this thing right, man. Like,
Yeah.
even if all through the years some things we don't do right, then this week when these folks here, we got to do it right, man. Like, what I'm saying, we got to do it right, and we always try to reward them with something, some
Yeah.
food or something. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Mm,
So that leads me to like, has been the biggest lesson that you learned from your company and running your developing company?
that's a big question, man. That's a good question, Sammy. The biggest thing, a piece of advice I can give, like if you're trying to start your own business, or if you're trying to start your own business, or you're working, or if you have your own business already, one thing I can say is like, man, you gotta. It might sound crazy what I'm finna say. You have to learn how not to be emotionally attached to money, and it sounds crazy, but like if you're investing money, whether it's in your business or you're got investments, stock like stuff like that, you gotta understand that sometimes that not sometimes all the time it takes money to make money. You know what I mean? You gotta spend that money to let it come bring something back. You gotta throw $1,000 out there so it can bring back $1,400. You know what I'm saying? a
Yeah.
thousand dollars is a big risk to get back to get $200-300. You know what I'm saying? But that's how investing works. You know what I'm saying? So like if you do a job and you do it, just say we do a job and we make $50,000. We got to go buy a house that costs $150,000 like that. So the profit we made, we got to throw it back out.
Yeah.
In that time, the accounts, like especially when you're first starting it, your accounts might that might be the only $50,000 you got in your account. You know what I'm saying? And you got to throw it back out to go bring back some more. You know what I mean? And if you're emotionally attached to money, if you get that money and you say, "Nah, I don't want to spend it. I don't want to do this with it." You're not gonna make no more money. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn how to not be emotionally attached to money. You gotta trust that you did your research and you're doing your thing, and that money you send out is gonna bring back some more money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not telling folks to okay to risk it all.
Yeah. No.
You
No.
got you gotta be smart. You know what I'm saying? Do your savings and stuff, but you have to understand that you gotta throw it. Sometimes, hell, we've been in deals where we throw out $100,000 just to make so it can bring back $115,000. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And if you lose that $100,000, that hurts, man. That might put you out of business. You know what I mean? It's just you just can't be emotionally attached. You got to make the some deal. That's why we're pretty strategic on what we buy and what we don't buy. Like I'm not finna go buy a $200,000 house just because somebody else offered $190,000 for it, and I know the house is only worth $150,000. Like I told you before, I rather sit at home and not make no money than lose money. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's that. If I had to give some advice, I would definitely tell somebody just you gotta understand that you gotta it takes money to make money. We've heard that phrase before, but it's the truth, you know.
And then it's just the I think it's a law for it. I don't remember the law right now, but if you got to keep money flowing because if you just have
Mm-hmm.
it sitting there, it's going the value is going
It,
down.
it doesn't do nothing.
Yeah, it's not doing nothing for you. Putting
It
your
does,
money to work for you. That's what I was looking
exactly. Man,
to.
I used to, especially when I was younger, not even younger, probably 4 or 5 years ago. I used to like, I used to ever since I was, and this goes back to like I will tell you, like my family kind of went through it during, when we had our little recession in '08 and stuff.
Yeah,
I After I saw that, I was like, man, I do not want this money. Whenever I get some money, I'm gonna save it. When I was 10 years old, I would get like I would cut grass stuff, and that every $10 I get, I would put it on my mattress and stuff like that. And all the way up until like the last 4 or 5 years, man, I would have money in my attic and money money under the mattress and stuff, and but that money it ain't doing nothing for you, man. It's just sitting
yeah,
there, you know what I mean?
just sitting
And
there.
when you could be putting money investments or just in a bank account that gives you 5% interest, 4% interest. And so I had to get out of my way on that too, man. Because I used to say, man, I would get this money. I just don't want it to go. I would like to, me saying I'm simple, man. I ain't got to have all the big stuff, nice stuff. I would just like to see the money like in a shoebox. You know what I'm saying? Like I just like open it up and see it. You know what I'm saying? But I had to learn that, man, that ain't doing nothing for you, man. Hell, it's dangerous. Hell, the house might burn down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
gone.
you can't. Yeah, man, you gotta that money. If you got that money, you might as well let it sit in an account and make a little something for you. You know.
Yeah,
So like you said, money's got to always move, man. When
yeah,
it's stagnant, it ain't coming in.
yeah. You gotta think about it like a river, man. Like the river
Mm-hmm.
is always flowing. Your money's gotta always stay flowing. If you're holding
Got to
it, then it's gonna take longer to come to you. You know.
exactly.
So yeah, man. So I watched one of your videos, man, and I think this question is gonna be really interesting because I
Uh,
watched one of your videos and the dump trucks was throwing all the dirt, and he was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"And 16 trucks in, and I'm still going. I only
yeah.
budgeted for 8." How do you deal with that?
Yeah, man. We need then yeah that video. I don't, we need to have a we probably only counted for about 5 dump trucks.
How much
No,
did you end up having though?
we were at like 20 something, man. We were like 20
Wow.
something dump trucks, and I think I only budgeted for like 6 dump trucks, man. And we in that situation we were building a house, and when we saw the land, and it was a pretty nice flat piece of land, and we were like, it's we kind of did our own calculations. And it's probably only gonna take this many tons of dirt to kind of to build a so we're building a slab foundation. So when you build a slab foundation, you have to make a pad of dirt for the house so it can sit a few inches higher than where your water kind of settles because you don't want water running into your house. So we figured it probably only take like 4 or 5 dump trucks, but we brought those 4 or 5 dump trucks out of it, man. That dirt didn't go nowhere, man. Like we needed like 15 more truckloads of dirt, so we had to eat it, man. It was and one dump truck is on $500. So we were we're almost with 10 grand over budget in that
Yeah,
situation. So we had to find that 10 grand somewhere else, man. It was like parts of the house that we couldn't we couldn't do this nice touch that we wanted. We had to try to stay in budget. And I think on that particular project, we were over budget. You pretty much always gonna go over budget. It doesn't matter how much you go over. You know what I mean? But you got to really sit down and have that conversation. Like, hey, we lost $10,000 before the house started even getting built. You know what I mean? So it's certain tile that we can't get. It's certain subcontractors that we usually go with, and we got to find someone else that does a little bit cheaper, but still does a good job.
yeah,
We got to try to make up that money some kind of way because if you keep going over budget on every single thing, then you're gonna be completely over budget, and then you're gonna sell the house and you ain't gonna make no money. You've been out there for 7 8 months and you ain't made no money. You know what I mean? That's the that's the worst nightmare. I be dreaming about that type of stuff. I'm saying, man, I be having a dream like that in my dream. I'll wake up. I'll be happy that I woke up and it was just a dream, man. You know what I mean?
yeah. So
Yeah. So
like,
it's
I guess what happened that, because I know you walked the property before, so like, was
yeah.
the land uneven or something like that, or what
Yeah, the
happened?
land. Yeah, the land was definitely a little lower on the right side than it was a
Okay,
little bit lower than what we thought, and like at the end of the day, it was all our it was all our fault. You know what I mean? We know better now. You know what I mean? We it's certain calculations that you got to do to understand how much dirt goes in a cubic dirt, the volume goes into a certain area and stuff like that. And we were just kind of totally naive to it. You know what I mean? So that's something that we definitely take more into account now. So in a scenario, what I learned from that, like you even have to kind of think of the worst case scenario. Like if I really sit there and do all my calculations and think that okay, this property needs 10 truckloads of dirt. When I'm doing my numbers, I might need to say if my true numbers gave me 10 loads of dirt, I might need to just throw another 4 or 5 loads of dirt on there just in case. You know what I'm saying?
as a
I might
oopsie.
say, hey, I might present to my family like, hey, we're gonna need 10 truckloads of dirt for this house, but let's say 13 just to be safe. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
just kind of I kind of throw that on. I kind of throw that on everything. Whether it's I'm figuring out for wood, or I'm figuring out for drywall, figuring out for everything. I just kind of try to think of the worst case scenario. So
yeah,
at least if I think of worst case scenario, hopefully it won't be that bad. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Just preparing for the worst, and
Yeah, so it's all a learning experience. Every project that we do, I learn something. It every single thing you do, you learn something, man. It's just a ever lasting learning experience, man. When you're kind of doing projects for yourself, you know.
yeah. So I guess how was the experience, and what's next for you as far as like developing? Are you guys working on any projects now, or?
Yeah, yeah, we're working on projects. We're renovating 2 houses. We're in the process of buying a lot right now. We've got a warehouse that's finna get ready to start the masonry part that I told you about. That was the bread and butter of our business. So we've got a 50,000 square foot warehouse that's gonna break ground in the next couple weeks.
What
Then
about
actually, man,
you guys finished that other one?
the other warehouse,
The other, yeah, the other warehouse that was a brick.
yeah,
Oh,
we finished it, man. Yeah, man, it turned out nice, man. It
that's
was
good.
up in Canton, Georgia. And Canton is kind of way north of the city.
Yeah,
Yeah, we finished. It turned out nice, man. They always turn out nice, man. It's just a matter of it's just a matter of trying to make sure you make some money. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then actually, we're actually everybody don't even know about this. Your folks gonna get they're the first one to hear this. We're actually getting ready to we're actually working on building our personal house now.
okay,
Yeah, me and my wife. Yeah, we're selling our old house in Ellenwood, Georgia, and we
okay,
we actually broke ground a week ago or 2 weeks ago actually for our new house in Fayetteville. So
Faye,
we're gonna try to make sure we do some vlogs and stuff in Fayetteville, Georgia.
nice.
Hmm.
What? So tell me a little bit about it if you don't mind sharing. Like
Yeah, man.
bedrooms, pool, wood,
Yeah, man.
mobile.
We so it's in Fayetteville, Georgia. It's a nice area, man.
Okay.
It's cool, man. It's a growing area. It's got so Fayetteville, man. It's kind of like southeast of Atlanta. You know where Rick Ross has his huge mansion at.
Nah. No.
Oh yeah, man. That's in Fayetteville. He lives in Fayetteville. He bought the boxer Holyfield's old house.
Okay.
So it's a nice area, man. And one of the main reasons that we decided that area is because it has a good school system too. Like we were in our old house in Clayton County, and man, I ain't sending my daughter to schools out there in Clayton County, man. It just ain't that just ain't what I just ain't sending her out there, man. So me and my wife were like, we always kind of wanted to build our dream house,
Yeah.
and we was like, shoot, it's in a she'll be 2 this year, so she started real school 4 or 5 years old, so we've got like 3 years to make a move. It was either that or pay for private school. And private school, hell, it over 12 years of private school. Hell, that's about more than a mortgage. You know what I mean?
Let's do a master or bachelor's degree, kind of.
Yeah, man. So we say that. So we figure we might as well go and build our. I guess we not necessarily our dream house, but it's our next house. You know what I mean? So we
That's
bought so yes,
yeah.
we
Go ahead.
bought the land in Fayette. We bought the land actually last not this past January, but last January. So we've had it for like a year and a half, and
Okay.
we just started breaking ground on it 2 weeks ago, clearing the lot out, and it's an acre and a quarter.
Okay.
So we cleared the lot out, and we're leveling out right now to get ready to pour the slab foundation, man. It's gonna be nice, man. We're gonna
Congrats.
try to
Congrats.
do as much vlogging as we can. I don't want to get too much because I don't want the folks look. I don't want everybody to know all my stuff at in my house. You know what I'm saying? But
Gotcha.
it's gonna be nice, man. It's gonna be right at four. It's gonna be 4,000 square feet. It's gonna be pretty nice, man.
Yeah. That's funny you say that because like one of the things that we didn't do when we were building our home is we didn't check out the school zone. So it's funny that
Okay.
you say you wouldn't send your daughter to Clayton County, but sure, I
Yeah.
wish that's one thing that we didn't do. And for
Mhm.
everyone viewing, if you're buying a house, that's one of the important things. If you have children,
Definitely.
school zone,
Yeah.
because
That's for your property value and everything, man. These that school zone counts.
yeah. So, got a few more questions for you, but what advice can you give someone that's starting their real estate journey?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do your research, man. You don't you want to learn. So do your research. Find somebody that's already doing it. Talk to them, see what mistakes they've made because there's no need of repeating mistakes. You know what I mean? You you don't make your own mistakes, but when you start dealing with money, man, you ain't trying to make too many mistakes. So do your research before you invest a dollar. Before you invest a dollar, you may have to spend some money on classes. You have to spend some money on seminars. That's what we did. Find people that are already doing it. Ask them questions,
Mentor.
shadow them, see how they kind of go about their business, and try to learn from everybody else. So when you get in there, there's a few less mistakes that you got to make because when you make mistakes in this game, it costs you money.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to because you work hard every day and you ain't trying to. You could lose money quick in real estate. I mean, you could lose 40, 50 grand in a week. You know what I'm saying? You could do it on one deal. You know, you're not trying to make that big mistake. It's one thing to make a mistake in school or something. It's free when you do that, but you make a mistake when you buying properties, investments, and stuff like that. It can get bad quick. So you really got to do your due diligence.
Due diligence is important. Making sure you know
Hmm.
your numbers, make sure you know the deal, know the
Yeah,
numbers, know what you're gonna make.
right. And make sure it makes sense. Make sure it makes sense. Like you said, know what you're gonna make. The numbers don't lie. Don't okay if you go into a deal and say oh, I'm only gonna make. Or you go, okay, if you go into a deal and you do the true numbers and you say the true numbers show you're not gonna make no money. Don't say, "Oh, I know I can do this." I know the you're not gonna prove the numbers wrong. You know what I'm saying? So that may not be the deal for you. You know, there's thing about real estate. There's land everywhere. You know, there's
Yeah,
property everywhere. That may not be the deal for you. And you know, the situation that we're in now, people that are selling houses, selling land and stuff, they're selling it high. You know what I'm saying? So you got to walk into a deal already knowing that okay, this is tight. This is already high.
yeah,
Don't force it. Like I say, I rather you sit at home and don't make no money than you go out there and bust your ass for 8 months and you lose money. You know what I mean? What sense does that make? So understand. Let them numbers let the numbers speak for yourself. If you ain't making 10 to 15% on a project, don't do it. Like, don't do it. Try the next one. Hey, it's the next one's coming. There's trees everywhere. There's land everywhere. I promise it ain't going nowhere.
yeah. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Hopefully, I'll be rich, man. Yeah, hopefully. now, I just in the next 5 to 10 years, man. I would love to just continue just building my profile, man. Just more houses, more houses per year. Higher volumes. Maybe instead of building one or two houses at a time, maybe have a small subdivision going up. Maybe 10 houses. Maybe maybe 10 renovations at one time. It's pretty much just adding that volume, just trying to increase that volume that we're doing right now.
Nice. Those good goals to
Yeah,
have. Yeah,
man.
definitely. So expanding your team, all that
Yep,
works.
yep. Expanding the team. I definitely would like to get more hands off on like the actual physical stuff because I do understand that to really make it, like if I'm spending so many hours, with a hammer in my hand,
Yeah,
like those are hours I need to be finding that other work. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's just how it goes. Like if I'm on a site all the time, actually, physically working, I'm missing out on stuff that's out there. So it made me trusting to hire people to actually handle the site. You know what I mean?
yeah, like an operations manager or something.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's uncomfortable because you gotta pay them,
Yeah,
but at the same time you gotta trust yourself that okay, I'm paying this person so much a year, but I gotta understand that I gotta trust myself to go out and find more work for you know what I'm saying, and find more work to keep them busy and keep things going. So it's very everything about business is uncomfortable. It's all about being uncomfortable. As soon as you get comfortable, you're not growing.
yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing about business owners. Just holding on to all the responsibilities and taking a
Yep,
long time to find somebody that could take over those responsibilities so you could continue to grow.
exactly. That's the key, Sammy. That's it. If you could trust if you could trust yourself to if you could find someone and you could trust that you can pay them, you know what I'm saying? Because they're going you gotta pay. You know what I mean? They're expecting a check every week, every 2 weeks, whatever it is.
Yeah,
You just gotta trust that you can do that, and but you can find enough work to keep them busy. And
yeah,
that's the uncomfortable part about it, and that's the hard because the worst thing that can happen, like I don't mind because I've been in most scenarios before. I don't mind firing somebody. That is you can fire somebody. They do something wrong. They do wrong. You can fire them. But the hardest part is like laying somebody off because you don't have enough work for them. Like that, you can't even. It's hard to sleep at night knowing that somebody's dependent on your check to feed their family, and you just can't pay them because you haven't found the work. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's
Mhm.
definitely hard. I can't experience. I can't imagine like that feeling, like knowing I didn't do my part and now I gotta lay off someone because I didn't do my part. That's
Exactly.
a lot.
Yep.
So, what is one thing you say that over the last few years that you've experienced your company that helped you grow, and what growth have you seen? in yourself?
Uh, I'll probably say leadership. Yeah, that's a good question, man. Obviously, leadership, situations, finding the best opportunity, um, just all those things. Just you just it's all about evolving in those things, And I feel like I've done a good job
Hmm.
getting myself in those uncomfortable positions. Um, asking, reaching out, asking, and trying to, it may be something like getting loans from banks and loans from private money lenders and things like that. Just trying to really get it so that my business can eat, and what I'm saying, my family can eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It that's a good question, Sam. I may not be answering it right, but it's just kind of all around, just better myself as a business owner, as a boss, as working for myself, as people depending on me, my family depending on me, my work family, my actual family, just kind of all those things. I feel like I've done a decent job, just taking everything that I've done wrong or didn't know, and trying not to make that same mistake twice.
Yeah. That's true, man. So I guess my last question would be is there, and I like asking this question because it opens the person mind to share something that they wanted to share but they didn't get to. So what is something that you were expecting me to ask that I didn't ask?
Oh, that's a good one, Sammy. Shit, I was expecting you to ask how much I made last year. nah, man. Nah, now what's something that I was expecting you to ask? Man, you asked a lot of good questions, Sam. Man. I don't know if I can really answer that, man. I think you did a good job. I think you did a good job asking you to open up my mind up, man.
Thank you, thank
What's
you.
what is what's a if anybody's ever asked that, what's if anybody's ever answered that, what's something that they've said?
The last time I asked it, um, he told me just giving advice to people.
Okay.
He just shared, look, if you're gonna do this entrepreneurship journey, don't quit your job. Um, build your business while you're use your job to build your business. So
Mm.
once you do start bringing in an income, you can leave the job without having to
Yeah.
worry about financing because that would take
Yeah.
a leave off of you. So that
Yeah.
was one of the things he said when I asked the question.
Yeah. And it's on that point. Since you brought that point up, that's deep. Like you definitely, like, if you're working a job, like, don't quit on impulse, and because you feel that you have an idea that you feel like you can make money. Like, you need to make some money on that idea you have before you quit. Like, don't, like, that's the worst thing. Like, that's the worst thing that I would say to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very, like, I said the joke before. I don't get paid just because it's Friday.
Yeah.
Like, it's a humbling feeling when two weeks roll around, 3 weeks roll around, a month rolls around, and you ain't got paid. Like, you might be on a project, but you ain't got paid yet. The worst scenario is if you ain't got paid in a month and you're not actually really working on nothing. You know what I'm saying? I definitely, I suggest, if you have an idea, you think you can turn a business into it, make sure you're making money for that. Make sure you're making good money for 6 months, a year, and let it replace. If you can say, oh, hey, this money can replace what I'm doing now or more, then you may be able to quit. Like, when I was working those nights at Hormel and stuff, people didn't see this. I should have vlogged this type stuff. Now, I will go into Hormel from, like, I would get to home at like 8:45, 9 at night, leave at like 8 in the morning, 7:30, 8 in the morning, pretty much work 10, 11 hours. And I would guess where I would go, Sammy. I'll go right to one of our renovations. I'll be at the renovation at 9 in the morning from about 3 o'clock, just so I can go home and rest for 4 or 5 hours, and then get back to Hormel. Like, I did that for over a year. Like, I did that like clockwork. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say I put that time in, man.
Yeah.
Um, thankfully my wife was supportive. Like, you know, some people wives, they hopefully everybody will support that, but that's a lot. That's a lot on your family. Like I didn't. It was times I really didn't see my wife for real, like because I was at Hormel at night, then go to Marvin State Developers in the morning. But she stuck in there. She handled business at home. You know what I'm saying, and she was there for me. That's a lot on her to do that. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the stuff that people don't see. They don't see that real grind, man. Like I'm talking about, I'm tired, Sammy, but
Yeah.
I knew that that's what I wanted to do, and I knew that I could make it working for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I don't every dollar I make that I kind of made myself. I don't take it lightly, man, because I've seen the hard time. Like even the last few years, it hurts when you ain't getting that check every week. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really know what to do with your money. You gotta understand your saving, and you gotta understand that I gotta risk this too. You know what I'm saying? That this money came in, but at the end of the day, I gotta ship that money back out for this next project. You know what I'm saying? Or the opportunity for a next project. So it's a hell of a mindset, man. It's a hell of a work ethic.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm glad that person brought that point up because that's huge, man. People make that mistake all the time. Just they know, yeah, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna make this money, and I'm gonna go quit my job and start my. No, it ain't that simple, man.
Yeah.
It's a reason that there's only a certain percentage of people that work for themselves.
And then
It and I don't and I
recently,
don't suggest it. I don't suggest it for everybody.
yeah,
I think that the best thing in the world is to have a nice job and working for. There's nothing wrong with working for somebody. People talk like, no, there's nothing wrong with working for somebody. Like, that's what 90% of the people do. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can make the American dream working a 9 to 5. Like, and you can start your own business and be a bad business owner, and it don't even take you to be a bad business owner to not make money. You know what I'm saying? It's not for everybody. And kudos to the people that do both. Kudos to the people that work for somebody. Kudos to the people that work for themselves. Like somebody's got to do both of them.
yeah. And then it's like this 9 to 5 millionaire guy. I think he's from Atlanta. He created the 9 to 5 millionaire where he kept his 9 to 5 and became a millionaire. So
Yeah,
it's all about how you look at it. But you said something really important there. And how important is it to have a strong support system as far as a wife, or picking the right spouse to help you, or not to help you but just be supportive? How important is
it's
that?
it's everything. It's everything, man. That support system, man, is everything. Like you really can't do it without them.
Yeah.
Like they have to be your support system, your drive, and they're your reason to do it. Like if it was just like if I was the only person I had to take care of, I probably wouldn't really. I mean, I'm simple, man. I ain't gotta have a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta have a big old 4,000 square foot house. I ain't gotta do that. But for my wife and my kids, like I want them to have it. You know what I'm saying? I do it for them, and specifically for trying to make that transition and having that spouse behind you while you chase your dreams. Like my wife, she works, she makes great money. Like she does very well. Like she what I'm saying, she could take care of her family for herself. You know what I'm saying? So like that gave me the confidence to be able to say, okay, even though I put in the groundwork and I'm making my own money on my own business, I feel comfortable that she's still doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if she was at home not making no money, I probably wouldn't risk going work for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because if things go wrong, which they have before, there's projects that have gone wrong. I've had a bad year before, but she was there. Like she threw me on her back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if I didn't have her, like if I didn't have her, or if I had a spouse that was like, oh, you tracing your dreams, but it ain't getting real money. Like I wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's man, man, shoot, that man, you preaching right there when you say that's picking that right spouse, man. Because man, that's in the millionaire next. Let me tell you something. a part of the Millionaire Next Door, the book that I told you about. There was a they kind of go through stories of they talked about they talked about the teacher, they talked about the business owner, but they also kind of went through stories of other millionaires that kind of have their own business and stuff like that. They talked about this one couple that this guy started a business and he made good money, and but they started from nothing. So when they had nothing, his wife would clip what's that, coupons from like the grocery store and stuff like that when they had nothing. And then 10 years later, when his business flourished, and they were rich as hell, they got money. Guess what she was still doing there on the Sunday paper? She was clipping paper. She was clipping detergent. She'd go to the grocery store and buy detergent with the coupons like they broke. You know what I'm saying? So she was like his backbone. She's still doing the stuff that she was doing when they didn't have no money, but they
Yeah.
got millions of dollars now. So they kind of tell you how important it is to have a strong spouse, and they also throw a statistic out in that book saying how I can't remember the statistic. I got to go back and read it, but they say like the people that get rich with their own business, or even not in their own business, they work with someone. They're like in one marriage, like they grow with one person. Like they don't have divorces, and they don't have a whole bunch of infidelity and all that kind of crazy stuff going on. They're focused on each other, and that saves them hundreds of thousands of dollars over time, and they get rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I
Yeah, man.
man. So,
Yeah.
Miles, I just want to thank you for coming on here, sharing your heart, just having a conversation with me. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Um, but to all our fans, I just want to thank everybody that keeps on tuning in every Sunday to Be Inspired podcast, where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. So
For sure,
until next
man. Yeah,
time,
man. I appreciate, not to cut you off, but I appreciate you having me, man.
yeah,
Like I told you before, man. As a freshman in school, man, I looked up to you, man, on and off the field. You're one of the teammates I really keep up with. I try to reach out to you. I know you definitely reach out to me all the time, and I really appreciate you letting me share my story. Hopefully I just gave one tip to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
man. And then
Yeah,
I know I be up in Columbus a lot, Columbus, Georgia a lot. So I'm
yeah,
thinking about coming over that way, maybe in
yeah,
the future. So
yeah,
maybe I'll
for sure.
have you
Come on up, man.
my next house.
Yeah, man. Oh, for sure. I got you, man. I got you on surprises too, man. I'm gonna look out for you a little bit.
Because I
Like I
know,
said,
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was saying I still gotta make some money, but shoot, I'm gonna look out for you though.
Because I know Noonan is a good place and it's
It
slowly
is.
developing. So
Yeah,
I think we were thinking about there, but and Tifton was a little Albany, Tifton area. I don't know if
yeah,
you work over there too.
yeah. That's a little more south. Dude is definitely nice though. Dude is actually not far from Fayetteville where I'm building my house at. It's a very nice area, and the land and stuff is not crazy expensive, but it's there. It probably will be coming up because I think they're doing a lot of building out there.
So how many acres you can say? I know yours is like 1.5 and you could put a
Uh,
4,000 square feet house on there. So how is the land? Are you able to buy more or it's just depends?
what's that like? Just buying in general?
Yeah, in Fayetteville, yeah.
Oh yeah, so we bought in a subdivision, so that lot was an acre
All
and a quarter. But there's a lot of land out there. I mean, you see signs everywhere that say 5 acres for sale.
right. Okay,
two
yeah.
acres for sale. So it's kind of the land is kind of almost unlimited out there.
Because we're like thinking about the next move, but just wanting not the subdivision kind of life, kind of more the
Right,
country feeling with the trees and stuff,
right,
where
right.
we can have the backyard pool, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I definitely suggest that, man. That's what I want to do. But my wife, she likes more of the subdivision and the living. But I definitely, because that's how I grew up. I grew up out in Fairburn, Georgia. My parents got 7 acres, man. I used to ride the go karts and four wheels in the back way acres back, and that's how I grew up, man. So I definitely would suggest that.
Yeah, and then I got my son too. He's coming up. I got
Uh,
3 girls and a son. I'm trying
uh,
to get him out there on dirt bikes, jujitsu.
you got flatten it out, make a little baseball field in the back,
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
man.
batting cage, everything, because he's
Uh,
definitely gonna be playing.
uh,
Yeah. But all right, Miles. Look, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone that watches. If you're looking for coaching, a life coach, a therapist, you can inbox me, DM me. I'm here. All right. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on Be Inspired Podcast. We're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Appreciate it, Sammy.
Oh, and I think one question I forgot, by the way. How can people connect with you?
Oh shoot, man, on you go follow me on Instagram and
Instagram.
so you feel my personal page, my business page. So my personal page, Booming Miles 10 on
I'll put it
Instagram.
up.
It definitely, man. Business Martin Real Estate Developers LLC. Facebook Martin Real Estate Developers LLC. You can check out some of our projects and just reach if y'all got questions, reach out to me. We can just never know where these connections can go, man.
Definitely. I'll put it all up underneath the videos.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Sammy, man. I appreciate you, Sammy. Love you, man. You my dog,
Love you
man.
too, man.
Yeah,
You can
man.
stay on off there. I'm gonna stop the call.
All right, bet.